All right, let me make sure we're up here. Good morning, YouTube. It's almost 11. We didn't get out of bed this late. We've been at it hard in our community this morning, and we have been cranking out some incredible information. So if you're just joining us, that's what's on the inside. And we welcome all of our new members. You guys are awesome. So we're watching SPY on this breakout here. It's made essentially most of its measured move expected. And if you look back at the previous trend from yesterday, that rip-roaring rally we had for FOMC, we basically made half of that move from our Globex. And continuation is expected if it accumulates here to go for the full leg, which would put us at angular resistance. And actually, I'm going to adjust that a little bit because I think that's going to be a little higher. Whoops. I meant to bend it, not move it. There we go. So expected full measured move, and this is the third leg because you got one here, one here. A full measured move would take you about to 419, 420. I expect accumulation and a pullback would be healthy here. We've already made half of a leg. It would be reasonable if SPY would pull back and accumulate in a range here for a while before leading into the close. And we've got several big earnings announcements after hours today. So Amazon's one of them. And it's expected volatility, but we should see a healthy accumulation or a pullback for most of the day, at least from here. Tesla's just been ripping. I mean, ripping. You know, both fundamental and technical analysts. Some have done well on Tesla, some haven't. The majority of the media outlets were basically saying a lot of bearish things about Tesla back here before it broke out of this channel. But we knew better. The chart was telling us this is very likely to make a 50% retracement. So the technical analysts, some of them saw this as a bear flag. I saw it as a descending channel with a likely 50% retracement. So when you go and look at that kind of stuff and just take all of the tooth-chipping chuckleheads, as we would like to call them, speaking their minds about what they think about Tesla, and you just look at what you know about Tesla, you know what the history is in the chart, you know there's a very high probability of if this then that. If you break this angular resistance in this channel, the bulls will follow, and boy did they ever. Apply that and just ignore all the news. You can do really well. We've always been saying just trade the chart. The chart's going to tell you everything you need to know. But the most important thing to know about the chart is that it never lies. It can only speak the truth. There is no bias. It can't think one way. It doesn't think. What you're seeing on the chart is what other people are thinking. This is literally watching human emotion on a chart. They were bearish as hell. They tried to push it down further. At some point, it hit a support level and bounced. And that was where you literally just draw lines. It's all organic anyway, right? Some people see those lines and know where to look for them. That's kind of a thing. Like, you know, a lot of people will, a lot of fundamental analysts and long-term buy and hold investor types will often scoff at technical analysts or people who can day trade and swing trade. And, you know, their whole adage is patience will pay you. Well, yeah, it will. But if you patiently analyze the chart, you'll have an edge over patience. Point in case, let me pull up a weekly chart here. Long trend. You know, all the people who bought it down here at this adjusted price, which was after, you know, forward split, 1180, whatever. They were patient. They're paying off, and they're probably still holding it. Us technical analysts took advantage of every pullback, compounded our earnings on the long-term investment over and over and over again. So, you know, if a person who bought it at 1180, you know, they made about 400 bucks by the peak. The trader probably made many times that, trading all of the pullbacks and accumulating both bearish and bullish trades. By then, a halfway decent day trader slash swing trader, or both, or at least a savvy options trader, would have made probably 10 times that amount in that time, at least. And that's the difference between a fundamental analyst and a technical analyst. Is a good technical analyst can then go out and learn how to apply leverage to something, and also how to be frugal and minimize risk and take advantage of that, and you know, take that 10 times amount and eventually build skills to turn it into 100 times that amount. Just trading the chart. And the fundamental is trade the chart. Chart doesn't lie. Chart tells you everything you need to know. That's why we preach it all the time. We just say trade the chart. All right. Some of you guys in the room earlier realized that I drew this shaded area. And I'll give this away on the YouTube channel. Find the wicks on these daily 5-minute candles and just draw a box on them. That's the liquidity zone. That's where all the limit orders are. And when you go and you find that, find the control areas and draw a line across that too. It's not quite in the middle, but you'll know when it breaks point A, it's likely to complete move to point B. And if it breaks back through point A, which is just this pivot to the downside, it's likely to come here and accumulate down at the bottom of that zone. It's just knowing where all the limit orders are. It's where a lot of people who are net long are taking profit. Pretty simple. So when you find that it bounces off that midsection somewhere, and it's not always in the middle, you can expect continuation. So like we've accumulated here on top of this, it's got a pretty high chance, once it breaks the resistance of the previous high, to extend all the way to the top of this box. Once you figure that out, where else can it go? Well, if it's trading in a range and it breaks a range, it's likely to repeat at least the range. So that's why we got another mark up here at, like, you know, 114. This range from today can stack right on top of this range upon the break. That's what the pivot is, and achieve that whole move. The market's always rhyming. It never repeats, but it rhymes. It's never going to be exact, but oftentimes you can make a trade to exact. I'm going to step off and let some coffee out for a second. I'm going to leave this up. I'll be right back. That's better. Sorry, I couldn't wait anymore. Sometimes I get pretty long-winded and I forget, hey man, I gotta let some of this coffee out. It's like pressure on a chart. At some point when it breaks, it's gotta go somewhere.
Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, sorry, I was just reading something real quick.
No, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. What's up?
No, I think I'm not saying I think I've got it, but you remember I'm going through that like difficult learning thing at the moment where I'm making loads of mistakes, which is expected. But I can trade a range and I can trade a trend, but I've learned that 20 to 30 pound, oh sorry, dollars a trade, you need to be in and out. And, oh, there we go. 20, $30 and just take small chunks. And if you could do that 3 or 4 times a day, it's $100 a day, you know? And it's learning to take profits, like you said, you know?
Exactly, and it's essentially similar to streaking at blackjack or streaking a trend. You're taking your profits off. You're starting to position over with the original risk, and swinging for little base hits. You'll find
Yeah.
you have a higher hit ratio, and overall you'll have a higher potential for gain. And comparatively with options trading now, day trading futures is like you say, it becomes something that you see it as like it cannot be this easy. You can say the same and the opposite for options trading. You can have a really big win on an options position. Okay, if you go back into it and you make an equal loss, and then you go and you trade it again, you make another equal loss, you've equated to one big loss. Whereas if you go into options trading with a sense of frugality, or learning how to take the least risk possible to achieve the highest percentage return possible, and you don't swing for the fences, you just take these little chops, take your little profit off, and reset your position, you'll find that you can take a streak of losers, that you've had minimal risk in, and then one day when you're not swinging for the fences, you take a position and it goes out of the park. Not only does it completely take out all that loss and make it disappear, it produces a gain in your portfolio, a net gain in your portfolio over the entire time. So swinging for all the short stuff, taking the little short chops here and there, is going to always be more productive than swinging for the home run, and then losing a home run. So
Yes, and that's what I was doing wrong. Is I was getting being a pig, being greedy, simple as that. Oh, it's made me $30. It can make me $40. It can make me $50. No, $30 is your limit. If you get anything more, great. If not, you're out. 20 to $30 a time.
exactly, and that's a good point that Rule 1 just wrote in here. Like, be smart, not greedy.
Yeah, and $30, like you say, you do that 3 or 4 times a day. That's $100, and
Yeah,
that's 5 times a week. That's it's $2,000 a year, $2,000 a month, basically, which is enough to pay your bills.
right. Oh, smart and greedy, she says. Yeah, and that's it. You're just snapping that up. You're taking it off the table and moving on to your next trade. And yeah, it does add up quick, and you don't have to even stress about your P&L. You don't have to look at the money. You just trade the trade and rinse repeat. Keep your risk frugal, and take these little chops here and there. And like you said, you do that, get 3 winners in a day. That's $100.
Like I say, that's all I'm asking. $100 a day would be more than enough for me. I could quit my job with that.
Yeah, absolutely you could. And then you look at the other thing is you're growing your working capital too. So like maybe at some point you add some size to that position, and instead of making $100 a day, you're making $200 a day. Eventually you're living on 100 of that a day, and then you're growing by the other 100 a day. And before you know it, you're trading 4 contracts at a time. You're trading 8 contracts at a time. And it's just like you've not only satisfied your needs by paying yourself and replacing your income, you've grown enough capital to take bigger and bigger chunks out of the market a little at a time relative to your account balance. So
what I need to do is I need to get this nailed first before I play with real money. You know, I need to do this properly.
And it's going to be important to also know exactly when to decide to scale up that position size, put a little conviction into it. It's always going to be a percentage for me. I tend to trade with no more than 10% of my account balance in any one day trade or swing trade for that matter. But at the same time, I've got the rest of the money in the account still working for me, whether it's sitting there earning broker interest or like I did with my Amazon position, it's locked in a can't lose position, and I can just generate slow income from it by passively selling a call on it every now and then. So, it's smart to be able to apply more than one strategy at the same time, and then mainly your short-term focus is taking these little chops, these little base hits out of the market.
But that's how you all start, isn't it? You just scalp 20, 30 bucks 2 or 3 times a day, and that's your beginner strategy, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I think I told you guys my beginner strategy when I first started trading. I studied for more or less a year, doing as much reading as I can about how to trade, how to become a day trader, how to swing trade, how to day trade. I didn't even touch options trading at first, but what I did know is that you can find something that trades in a range and just trade the range over and over and over again.
It ranged this morning, and I did that for about an hour before you lot woke up. And then it went. Then I lost a few. It's like, oh right, let's have another look. Oh, it's trending upwards now. So we've got to trade the range upwards, trade the trend upwards. So you've got to learn to adapt as the trends adapt as well, isn't it?
Right. You got to learn to adapt to the market, and you got to change with the leaves, and that's where you find it can't be this easy. Yeah. Once you've made that argument.
Yeah, and now I've had a week or two of, oh man, I'm losing, and now I'm back to, oh, it can't be this easy. I'm going through like ebbs and flows of learning and overcoming, and then thinking, yeah, I've got this, and then, oh no, the market's got another lesson to teach you now.
Right, and that's the thing. You just adapt and overcome. You find out what the market's telling you, and you do what it tells you to do. And it gets more easy as you go. You'll have several different levels of easy at that point. And then you'll still be questioning it. And that's good. Never stop questioning it. Because it's always going to be
And then
changing.
you just move everything down thinking, oh, it's going to be 50% retracement. Let's see if it tests the 30%. Yep, it's done that. Let's move the stop down, see if it tests the 50%. Yep, it's done that. And then if it fails, move it back up and take profits.
Exactly. If this, then that, rinse, repeat. Just a program. And then to go back into the whole scaling thing, it is also adapting your futures trading. So like when I realized I was trading 20 MES contracts at a time, and I could have been just trading 2 ES contracts at a time. It dawned on me like, hey, the commissions are kind of expensive for each side of this. I might as well move it into a bigger vehicle. So you can scale with that too, and you find if you've slowly grown that futures account to where you notice you're trading 8 MES contracts at a time, it's time to switch to 1 ES contract at that point. Once you've crossed that threshold of going on to the next bigger size. So it's all about being able to scale, what percentage of risk of total account balance that you're willing to deal with. And for some, it'll be 3%. For others, it'll be 25%. I happen to be at about that 10% level. That changes with account size too. There's an old adage, you can't trade $1 million account with $10,000 worth of trading knowledge. The guy who learned how to trade a $10,000 account can't just jump in and take the same strategy to $1 million account. Those base hits in a $10,000 account are a drop in a bucket in a $1 million account, but a base hit in a $1 million account is like, a $10,000 account 10 times over. So the scaling is going to change a little bit with account balance, and you'll have to realize that your risk management has to adapt with the market as well as your strategies with trading the market. So at some point, your program will adapt to that as well.
It's knowing when the trends change. Is it ranging? Is it going up? Is it going down? And if you can sort of like follow it. It's working today for some reason. I don't know why, and that scares me even more. Why it's working and I don't understand it, than why it's not working and I don't understand it. I want to understand why I know.
Right.
I'll get there. I'll get there. I'm just.
It just
This is no psychology. This.
it just takes a little time to literally analyze what you're thinking there, and that's exactly it. You're questioning it. You know, you certainly don't want to be in a position while you're questioning it, and that's kind of I can't stress that enough. Step out, step aside, and analyze it in the third person and say, okay, why is this argument taking place? What's the likely outcome? You know, start picking off your questions and be the rational one in the room, sort of analyzing what the other two are arguing about. You'll get it. You'll gather more from it. You're just calm, collective, and you know, you're able to assess the situation much more efficiently than anybody else involved as far as your different personalities that are analyzing these things. There's a different personality in everybody's mind. Multiple personality has been studied. Like, everybody has that. You have this little voice in the back of your head. That's a different personality. But when you take and you find them arguing, it's the rational thing to do is step back, find both sides of the argument, analyze it, figure out the outcome, figure out how to adapt and overcome. So yeah, there's a lot of psychology involved, but it really doesn't have to be psychology complex. It just has to be psychology simple. You have to just kind of understand it and use it to learn and move forward.
Yeah, it's making sense today. So it's just clicked. You know, sometimes things just click. Today has been one of those days.
The lights come on, exactly.
You know, I blew up my account last night, though.
I didn't quite hear that. Let's say again.
You understand? I blew up my account last night having to learn this.
Yes, and that's one of those lessons where you sometimes, at least it was on paper, but you sometimes have to learn it the hard way before you understand it. And that's why I also say the same thing about complex options positions. If you don't fully understand it, and as long as you can still be frugal with risk in it, you know, go and put one of those trades on just so you can at least learn from it. You know, if it's going to cost you like a $5 bill, so what? That's the cheapest knowledge you're ever going to get from trading. You know, and hell, there's positions you can throw together with these spreads for literally legit a $5 bill, so that you can at least get a feel and understand how they work. Like a simple debit spread. I find those all the time at that level. I mean, hell, I've added some size to my UNG position, so you know, and those were 6 cents a piece for those spreads. They're $5 wide. That's dirt stinking cheap, and they're far enough out in time where I've got lots of time for price action to work with me on that. And even if it fails, I've lost $6 a trade. You know, $6 a contract spread. Big whoop. Throw one of them together. Learn from it. And that's the other reason why I put it in the alert channel, is that it was such a stupid low risk for potentially huge reward. It's like a why not, you know? It's not quite a YOLO. It's not like a lottery ticket play. It's we're looking at the chart. It's like likely to make that V bottom eventually after it accumulates for a while. Might as well step ahead of it. This is one of those times where you can trade the setup and not the break. When it's so risk averse that it's like pennies on the dollar are in play here, it's worth doing to at least learn from it. All right, as I speak, we've got kind of a lot of things happening on the chart here. We've got accumulation back to a range, tested a support level. You can see that this little area right here was an accumulation previously in a trend. It's now a range. I could draw a box on it if I want. Don't have to. Price bounced off of it. I can use my cursor and use the crosshair there to kind of see that. Now we're back to a price target. This is one of those rounding tops I love talking about, where they look bearish until they don't. They find support somewhere on a previous accumulation, and they always do this. They'll bounce. Sometimes they'll fake you out. Sometimes this will be a run that, you know, gets sold real quick and generates a big wick right up against resistance. Well, all you have to do is know where the resistance is. Hover over that with your cursor. There's my crosshair at about 417.05. Okay, enough said. Watch the 5-second chart. Confirm exactly when that trend reverses. That 8 period is great for that. You know exactly where it's likely to break over. Tesla came back, tested support. That was previous resistance, 192.30. That was an old pivot I had, and all I had to do to find that was connect to the control bars in the previous trend. This is something we've been teaching for a long time with price action trading on penny stocks. It's just look left, find the control zones, and trade from one to the next. That's just one of many methods. You can go and find the liquidity zones, you can find all the angulars and all that stuff and get complex on your analysis, but it comes to the same conclusion. It comes to the same result. It's just there's many different ways to do it. And that's why Stone and I were talking about, find what works best for you. Take all the knowledge in that you want, condense it down, pick out what you need from it, and that's you. It's your own way to do it.
I made it back, by the way.
Well, hey,
I dropped my phone in water.
Oh no!
All my Robinhood stuff is on my phone. So I had to, my phone's drying out. I think it's going to be okay. I actually had to turn it back on so I could get a text from Robinhood. I had to change my password. I couldn't remember it, so I could get on my iPad. So I'm cool now. I'm back. But I had one of those moments.
Yeah.
This is the second broken M top today. This is a twin.
Yep.
You know, I talk about twins.
Twins. It's that double.
Oh, it's funny, and it's
double the
really
range.
funny. You know what? It's funny. I just told Devin we were twins. I just did a funny.
Corsican twins.
I just did a goofy thing. I'll do it better with this one. I'm from the pre-market. No. Twin M tops. Twin failed M tops.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you see them from
Yep.
on the 1 minute on the SPY. We had that first one in the open. Remember, I said I don't like the way it did that thing. I said I was talking about the measured move, and I said I don't like the way it did that thing. But you know what? It still gave that measured move.
Yep. And I went and identified where the control zones were, and I'm like, okay, well, if it bounces here, if this, then that, fail. And we see this all the time, and I love talking about that rounding top look where it looks bearish until it finds support on a previous accumulation, and bam, bounces right out.
See what happens here.
It's a double top too, right here. It was a double top when it was live, and then pulled back. It broke the key support, which is the middle of the top of the V. Basically, I called it the base of the M at one point. It's just a support zone. It broke that, finished the move, found the next accumulation, bounced. It's just a simple matter of if this, then that, if this, then that, rinse, repeat. Trade from here to there, trade from there to here, back again.
Yep.
It becomes redundant, and if it feels boring, you're doing it right.
11:30, we got something. Nothing's really done anything. 4-week bill auction, and then that's it. Let me tell you about tomorrow, Sensei. You ready to know about tomorrow?
Sure.
We get the employment situation at 8:30 a.m. At 9:45, we get the PMI composite final. At 10 a.m., we get the ISM service index. And then at 1 p.m., we get the Baker Hughes rig count. Now, we know that don't mean things.
Not usually.
But the 8:30 and the 9:45, I think, means something. I'm not sure about that 10 a.m. I'll have to go look at. What I'm saying is, if we don't get anything that really moves that market, then we could have another trend day tomorrow. So it's a possibility.
Oh yeah, I can see.
Seems that when we have light econ or no econ, you get movement.
I'm about to roll half of my remaining Amazon spreads into butterflies right now. We're coming back to liquidity. We're attempting to break it. I'm going to set this up after a couple candles, but I think it's time to start thinking about that.
I got a question for you about options. Are we on YouTube?
Yeah, we're on YouTube right now.
Okay, hi YouTube. Sorry, folks, I dropped my phone. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I was in a different world for a little while. I had to figure it out. Thankfully, I was able to get it figured out. So when you're trading spreads, and you do like a call spread and you're about 1 day out from expiration and you're back at your price that you bought it, and it's possibly could move up a little bit more, but it expires tomorrow. And if it expires tomorrow, what time of day is the best time to make that decision on a spread that expires then 1 day from now? And is there a time of day when the volatility starts to dry up and that goes down, or is
Oh
there a
yeah,
time of day that it might go back up?
that time of day is actually right now, and it
Hmm.
varies. It'll be anytime between like 10:30 and 11:30, typically. So if you have a 1 day to expiration, it's going to really start suffering if this goes sideways. And almost every day, SPY loves to go sideways at this point in the
Trading
day.
range.
It just
Hmm.
eats that time decay up. So
Especially on a 0 day. Well,
if you,
they're all zero now.
yeah, and if you've got, if it's a 0 day, it's really going to get destroyed in that. But
Right, but it's not.
if it's tomorrow, depending on your
Yeah.
profit percentage, if you've got more than 100% profit and you still want to leave some of that on the table to see what happens to it the next day, that's where learning how to convert options positions is really going to pay off. And that's exactly like what I'm saying with converting a
What you're
spread
saying
into a
about right
butterfly.
now.
Right. So this can set up. It's got this little descending channel here. It can accumulate here and go into a measured move to finish that expected move from yesterday's trend. It can. I'm going to watch this pattern right here. If it rejects, cool. I'll either close a position that expires tomorrow or I will adjust it. Sometimes I'll scale out half of it or more, whichever covers my initial risk in that position. And then I will go and look at doing the butterfly conversion. So like if you have a debit spread on and it's above 100% profit, it's very likely that you can sell another short leg and buy another leg further out of the money as a credit spread and lock in every bit of the profit that's above 100%. So like if you're only locking in a 25% profit, it's okay because it's still got a good chance at making it right at the short leg position or short body position on expiration tomorrow, which would be phenomenally profitable. As long as you've taken some profit off the table, I'm good with that. That's kind of what I'm looking at for Amazon. But if you don't want to attempt trying that conversion tactic or that conversion strategy, just close it. If you find yourself questioning it and you're wondering what's going to happen to this thing tomorrow, and you've got a profit on the table,
Hmm.
there's nothing stopping you from just taking it.
Right.
You can learn the
Right.
conversion later. There's another day,
Right. Yeah, that's why I was asking. I wasn't 100% sure on that.
So I'm looking for that Amazon position right now. Actually,
Well, this one I got, and it's break even right now for me. Not at its break even. It's just basically it's the same price. It went down, and I kept it because I wasn't sure. That's why this is kind of a test for me. So I wasn't sure what it would do
right.
when it went down, and I said, well, I was looking at the chart, and I'm thinking, man, everything looked bullish to me. I had that conversation, and I apologize, folks. I don't like to say these things and what I think as an opinion a lot of times out loud to everybody because I don't want folks jumping into trades if I'm wrong. So I'm just thinking out loud, and I'm saying, wow, this looks bullish, and I've talked with you about it before. So I wanted to see, okay, well, we're down, and I know we're going to be in a trading range today at some point, which we can also use to get out measured move. But I'm like, but when? When's a good time? This is a day out, I don't know that I want to hold it overnight until expiration day tomorrow. I mean, it could rip up another, $5 by then,
Yep.
or it could go down another $5 by then. I think we have a 30% chance of a $5.50 move between now and tomorrow, up or down. So that's why I was just thinking.
Is it a debit spread?
Yeah, it's one contract. It costs $4.
Okay. If
It
it's
costs
only
4 cents, and I bought it for $4.
if it's only one, you can still decide whether or not you want to just convert it or you want to take profit on it.
Yeah, there's no profit on it right now. It's back at the price I bought it.
Right. When I was
Right.
learning these conversions,
See, I'm still learning that, folks, just so you know.
I would always take size of at least 2 on a debit spread like that, so that
Right.
I could have more options to adjust the position.
Oh, it's a good idea, Sensei. I see.
So I can
Light comes
convert
on.
one spread and profit the other. So I mean that way you get a chance to learn more. You get a chance to trade the conversion, and at the same time you're not having any risk in it. You know,
Right. Right.
it's like I say, I'm a little different than most options traders in that very thought of being able to, make a transition from buying and selling options to just adjusting them.
Well, I can tell you this, if you don't mind me saying, Sensei, just as a conversation. I think I've told you, it's the last couple of weeks, things have really just clicked in on the debit spreads for me.
Yeah.
And we talked about this morning of how to apply my day trading price action technical analysis to the larger time frames.
Yes.
And that is, I mean, what almost I made 40% of my account. I didn't double it, but I made 40% of it
Hell yeah.
like last week, right? Just in one day. Remember?
Oh yeah. That Tesla thing.
I'm at another 21% up right now just today.
Yes. This is the
That my
power of
account
compounding.
and this is I've held this now. I've watched the fluctuations, but I'm checking out my analysis, and I'm trusting my analysis. This is what we talk about. I'm comfortable with my stuff. I really am. I listen, like when you and I are talking, I'm bouncing stuff around, but I don't listen to anything else. Because I know what my analysis has taught me, and I can see it, and I can trust it, so I can make good trades. And this has been proven that it's working for me. So I'm really excited about this.
That's awesome.
But now I'm applying it to debit spreads. So, I'm digging it.
And it just goes to show you, you're taking those little base hits, you're using very frugally applied leverage in your account, and you're outperforming just about every other equities day trader out there, like people who buy and sell shares in percentage. And like you could take, the amount of risk you would put into a penny stock for that matter, and put it into an options position. And it's like you'll be profitable either way. But like, maximum equities trading on penny stocks, your total account balance would go up like 1 or 2% or something like that. Here you are making like 40 and 20% returns in less risk than you would have in any penny stock you've ever traded. And the fact that it's all just clicking over these last 2 weeks, it's like, aha, that moment where you're just like, wow, this is incredible. That's really a great place to be, because suddenly you've got an understanding of how to make that leverage work for you without having really any risk in it. Man, there's just so much to talk about with trading, and it's just incredible to be able to get these conversations out there and show the world what we do. Just have one of those inspiring moments.
Mm-hmm. Sent you something, bro. Make sure you read everything.
Yep.
And even right now.
I was just going to kind of talk about something too. I gave the 100% on that, where the man who practices that 10,000 kicks. She made the sensei statement. I love that. I used to say that every day for like a good couple months straight, right? That man who practices one kick 1,000 times will be a far more fearsome opponent than the one who practices 1,000 kicks once. I am 1,000% behind that statement, and I prove it every single day. There is one thing to know. There's a different style and a different trading and a different way to trade for everyone. And if your style is great for you, it may not be for someone else. But
Right.
as long as you know how to do it and you've practiced it 1,000 times, you're already winning.
Right.
And you are already more fearsome than your opponent.
That's
So-
right. And then there's no opponent in trading. There's
No.
the only person you're trading against is yourself.
Exactly.
There's no opponent. There's no reason to listen to, if you know what you're doing, you follow what you're doing, and just, don't. This isn't a competition. I'm not competing against anybody here.
It's not the what's the analogy?
I've
It's not a
been that-
pissing
I've
match.
been- no, it's not. It's not that, and it's not. I've been in some of the most difficult industries to make money in, and I've survived, and thrived even, and so I've been through all that competition and all that stuff, and what I love about trading is I don't have to have that, and I can just trade, and I can make a living, and I don't have to deal with some of that stuff. So this is great. I'm kind of hesitating as I talk because I'm watching this trading range
Yeah.
between 41.97, 25, and about 41.87, and on the ES, and it's faked out a breakout once. So I'm gonna see what it does here.
And I've already made the conversion on the other half of my my Amazon options. That's why I was quiet for a second there. Essentially, I've locked in 100% return on that, and I cannot lose that. It's locked, and the other half is just open to trade right up to the bell. So I'm stoked. Just kind of reading in the chat here, and it's like I don't want to see a pissing match erupt from this. It's just a matter of everybody's going to have their different way of doing things, and just to respect each other. It works for you. It doesn't have to work for everybody.
Okay, hey, I'm going to cut out for a little bit. I got some things going on in the background here I need to take care of, especially try to get my phone up, make a few decisions, and I'll catch up with y'all later. Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, man, you too. There we go. Amazon locked for earnings. I got some tradable spreads. I've got some butterflies, and I'm just chilling. And I've got capital to move into something else. Just like that. Yes, it's true. You can really fail your way to success, and this is probably the most fundamental proof you'll ever find is learning how to trade. You can literally fail your way to success as long as you learn from your mistakes. You're doing good. The definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over and over again, even though it doesn't work. Well, in trading, yeah, some of you will be insane. You keep trying the same thing over and over and over again. That's why I said, when you start seeing it as this can't be true, it can't be this easy, check your head, question yourself, make sure you don't fall for that insanity and keep going with that same strategy, because eventually, for a long time and overall, it might not work. So be ready to adapt. That's fine. But there's the one thing to know is that when you do find the accumulation of strategies that work together, and that you can have a box full of different strategies to use, or a box of tools, that's the game changer right there. You have practiced some insanity to learn it forward and move forward with it. That's the idea. You're going to go and try some different things and learn some different things, and over time you build up that toolbox. You just have a go-to thing. You're not insane.
We're all insane, actually.
Yeah, but in a good way.
It's a crazy thing to do.
It is. Oh, it's funny you should mention that, because I remember back in the day, I was having some thyroid problems. I'm a thyroid cancer survivor. it caused me to have some different swings in cognitive abilities, and different things were happening in my mind that I didn't quite fully understand at the time. I've learned it from since, but I was also at the same time teaching myself how to trade these complex option strategies. And I told my doctor about it. She's like, what a hell of a bad time to be learning something like that. That makes me nervous just hearing you talk about it. I'm just like,
Well, it kept your mind off other things, though. It gave you something to focus on.
exactly. And it did. And, they were just concerned for me, like, well, don't go,
You might end it by jumping off a bridge, which would be a lot faster than you
Yeah.
were.
exactly, I was like, at least I'm keeping myself occupied while I'm here dying too slow. He laughed at that. He's like, yeah, everybody's dying too slow. But at any rate, you kind of look at the dark sense of humor involved in that is this. He saw it as like, boy, that's a horrible time to be learning this kind of stuff, and trusting yourself to do it is a whole nother realm of crazy. But you know what? Crazy works. It worked for me.
Well, thank God that we all don't have to go down that route.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that wisdom and experience with us.
That's why I love coming here. I love bringing whatever I have to the table, and if I can learn it forward and share with these experiences, and it helps even one person, I know I'm doing the right thing. All right. Well, I'm going to kick off the YouTube thing. I'm going to grind out some time decay on a couple positions. I think right now it's a good time to stop fasting breakfast and start eating something. I'm going to go eat my lunch before the market eats it for me. But I'll be back. I'll probably leave my screen up in the Discord channel so y'all can kind of watch what I'm doing. Even if I'm not vocal, I'll probably be here just munching on food quietly. You'll see my mouse move across the screen and adjust some things once in a while. If you have any questions, just tag me in the chat and I'll get to it eventually and answer any questions that come up and stuff like that. I'm either always here or always at least able to pause what I'm doing and answer a question. All right, YouTube, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Again, I thank you guys for joining us and hanging out with us. Really helps out our channel, throwing us a couple likes every now and then. Subscribe if you like. We love that. Hit the bell and get some alerts when we put out new videos. We do this every day just about. We missed yesterday because we had some crazy things going on. I had some family stuff I needed to take care of. I wasn't available, and Stone was just having a wonderful time in our Discord channel yesterday, just getting so much out that it didn't have time to even mess with YouTube yesterday. So I thank you guys for joining us, and the most important thing I would ask of you guys, aside from throwing us a like, helping out the channel, and helping us provide more of this, go tell your friends. Show people what you saw. Show people what we're about here and what we do. That's the whole purpose of us being on YouTube at all, is just to show the world what we do. And our internally, we don't charge a lot for membership like a lot of other groups do. We've been boasting about Investopedia named us as being the best value in the whole industry of what we do, and we don't just do that to live up to a name. We do that to let the world know that we're not here to make money selling a service. We make money trading. We get plenty of that. We're doing that to keep the lights on, and above anything, to grow. We want to show the world what we have, and eventually we want to do it for nothing. So that's years down the road, but this is how we get there, is we keep growing. So help us out. Tell your friends, throw us a like, and even give us opinions and questions and talk to us. We reply to pretty much any comment you give us on YouTube, so feel free. Thanks again. We'll see you guys tomorrow.